Hi guys, welcome to my sports world once again. It is the day after and we're taking a look back at what happened yesterday. Let me put it this way. It was the Caraboa Cup. We were playing West Ham at Old Trafford. I expected a lot of changes, like I said in the video yesterday. I expected maybe 4 to 6, 7 changes. That's what I expected. 11, I did not expect. But what did we learn from this experiment? And this is what I think Ole Gunnar Solskjear had in mind when he did this. It was an experiment that he did to get some answers. Because, let's face it, it's hard for a manager, coach, a coaching staff to get answers in a regular season when you maybe sub them on for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes or half an hour, or they play maybe an occasional game here and there. We have a very strenuous and strict schedule coming up in the FA Cup, the Premier League, Champions League, and I know that's where we want to. I know the club want to focus on those three. They use this game as, like I said, an experiment. They want to find out who of the players that has been hurt, that has come back, like Tellus, where does he stand? Where do the other players stand when it comes to fitness, quality, mental capacity to play the game, and deal with the practical game side of it? So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his coaching staff wanted to use this game as a feeler, okay, these players, because when you do this, when you do 11 changes, that's basically what you want to do. You don't want to, you want to win, but you don't have the urgency to win it because you change the whole team. But I bet you this is what he was thinking, and this is what he communicated to the team yesterday before the game started. You guys have been chosen to go out there and represent the club best way possible. It's up to you to grab the opportunity to win this game and show us and show the world what you're good for. That's what he wanted, and he wanted to see a response from these guys. And like I said yesterday, I talked about a few of these guys. He probably got the answer that yes, he have the best backup keeper in the Premier League, in Henderson. Salary wise, is it smart to have two goalkeepers on that huge amount of salary? Maybe not. But you know what? For now, it is okay. We found out that we have the best backup keeper in Henderson. He had 3 world-class saves within 5 minutes span yesterday. Absolutely. Best backup keeper in the Premier League. That we found out. Check. Next, tell us, where is he after a month and a half, 2 months of injury? A little rusty, but he's coming along. He had some good spells. He had some, So, with a little bit more exercise, a little bit more conditioning, a little bit more training, he'll be good to go. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got his answer. Tellus is not there yet, but he's on his way. Check. Bailly, if I need in one game in Premier League or Champions League, if I need to use another centre back other than, because someone might get a red card or something, or come down with a flu or a cold or diarrhea or something the night before, so you might have to sub on some. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted to see where do Bailly stands versus Lindelof. He knows where Lindelof is, but he wanted to see those two side by side taking on the task. The answer he got was that both of them are pretty frantic and erratic in their game, and they get clustered really fast. You could see that yesterday. Bailly had a little bit more control over things than Lindelof. Every time I see Lindelof, it is oh Jesus, gee, don't do that. So it clearly showed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that the right thing of going with forward is Varane and Maguire on steady basis. Check. He found that out. Bailly and Lindelof is not the solution to replace either one on a long-term scale. Now we come to the other side, and Dalot. He saw Dalot for a little bit in the Young Boys game, and I think he had a good sub on in the Young Boys game. But you come on mid game, kind of cold. It's hard to make an impact. It's hard to make like a good thing unless you like having the whole team is having a good vibe. This game he started from start, and I think Dalot was one of the better players we had yesterday. He and Henderson did really good. So I think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got his answer. If something happens to Aaron Wan-Bissaka, do I have a good option to go with on right back? Check. Yes, I do. Dalot is quality. He's good. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer found that out in a game situation. And in a game where we got pushed pretty darn hard on the flanks, okay? And on the backs. To the middle, where he probably wanted to get the most answers, because we know the answers in the back is kind of given, and the answers on top is kind of given right now. So what is happening on our midfield? Well, he gave the whole midfield the day off, except for Bruno on the bench and stuff like that. But we put on Mata, who is a squad player. He's not a starting 11. He's a squad player. And I think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got his answer. It's in certain games, with a certain tempo and with certain lineups and certain outcomes of, setups and stuff like that, Mata can be, a guy you sub on for the last 10-15 minutes if you get an injury or someone is like pulled a hamstring or cramps or need to come off. You have a steady hand and steady feet on a player like Mata. He's not one of the fastest players. The tempo gets kind of little bit dragged down with Mata in the game, but he is. You can trust him. He doesn't do many mistakes. The only drawback is he's not fast. He's a secure passer, that he is. He's normally very good on free kicks, and he's a solid penalty kicker. So he has qualities that you can use. So we learned that he's still a viable sub on for the last 10-15 minutes, if needed. Matic has been more in and out of the team than any of the others, maybe. He showed yesterday that he's really getting on his last legs. I think his performance yesterday was poor. I think it was way under par. He looked out of place. It looked like the tempo was way too fast for Matic. And I think Matic plays better when he has other players around him. Players that can lift the quality up. So, because we saw yesterday that on experience, Matic should have been the best midfield player, but he was not. All the midfielders yesterday was kind of like suspiciously bad. So we found out that Matic is okay to use as a sub-on for 5, 10, 15 minutes, just like Mata. But as long as you have a cast of players like Bruno and Pogba around him. He does not fit to be the alpha male or the alpha dog on the midfield. He's not. He's someone that can fill in the void. He can take off like the second ball, the third ball. He can be a passing point, link up point, stuff like that. He's not a guy that you want to trust to run the midfield. He's not. That we got an answer for, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did too. Check, boom, in the bin. When it comes to Donny van de Beek, and I expected a lot from him, and I was kind of like excited yesterday because he started. That excitement really got cold very quick. Donny van de Beek did not have a great game. He lost the ball too easy. He did some really dumb mistakes, stupid decisions in a few situations. He had a couple of good passes, but his finishing in front of the goal is god-awful. And even, once again, it comes down to decision making. He had time to do another thing. He had time to do another choice of how I'm going to finish this. But He's losing the ball way too easy. He's not fast. He's like Matic in a younger body. Slow, taking too many touches. His decision making is kind of weird for many times. What he did down by our corner flag and between the corner flag and the 18-yard box when he lost the ball, he shouldn't have. That was a stupid decision to do that kind of shit. You don't dribble like that on your own, down by your own 18-yard box when you can just get the fucking ball out. So we learned why Donny van de Beek sits on the bench most of the time. He is not Premier League quality as a starter. Substitute? Yes. He's in the same category as Mata and Matic. Okay to put on for 10-15 minutes just to get fresh legs on when you have other quality players around him. You saw it yesterday because there's games where Van de Beek have played way better than this. Don't get me wrong. I have seen Van de Beek play way better than this. But in those games, he have had an all-star cast around him. Pogba, Bruno, Rashford, Greenwood, people like that has been around him. Yesterday, it was him, Matic, and Mata. A trio that basically cost a lot of... I think they got outplayed. Let's just say that. So Ole Gunnar Solskjear said, I got that confirmed. He's not a starting 11 material for Van de Beek. We saw it yesterday. He was not on the level of being starting 11. Now, on the top, we started with Martial, Lingard, and Sancho. Of those three, I give Sancho a valid yes. He passed the bar exam. Was he exceptional? Was he dominating? Did he provide any flashing things and outplay people around him? He had moments here and there where you can see that if he gets a little bit more playing time, it will come. He was more secure on the ball yesterday than he has been in the past. I think that he wanted to go more forward, out on the flank, out on the wing than he was earlier. In some of the earlier games, he tended to go inwards. Like yesterday, he would go more straight up and out. Very promising. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer probably got some answers that he's moving in the right direction. He's doing the things that I want to see him do more and more. It's just a matter of time before it clicks. Check. He's on its way. He's good. I also think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got a confirmation about Lingard, and he said that Lingard is not a starting forward, but he's a forward that can play. He can be a starter, but then be subbed off. He can be an alternative in games like, FA Cup or games like Young Boys at home, stuff like that. Is he a starting attacker? No. We have Greenwood, Rashford, Cavani, Ronaldo. That is ahead of him. But he's the fifth option in the attacking field. And this is about having depth play. He's a depth player, and he adds an added quality to the team. He raised the quality bar of the team for sure. He has some really nice dribbles. He has some really nice shots. And he still has some speed to him. And he has some nice runs that opens up for other attackers. We saw that in a game where he played, and it opened up for Ronaldo, and Ronaldo scored in one of those games. So Lingard got confirmed. He's on his way. He's on a stable high. Even though yesterday wasn't his best game, he's doing good stuff. So check. I can trust him to come on and do 20-25 minutes. That's what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got answers for yesterday. When it comes to Martial, the biggest answer of them all. Yesterday, I think Martial was the poorest player I have ever seen in an attacking position. It was shocking how bad he really was. And if I do not believe that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer meant what he said when he got interviewed. That was a cover-up for the media. Inside, I think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was, I got what I needed from him. he's not good enough. The only thing Manchester United can do with Martial at this point is to put him up for sale and get rid of him in January if they can. If they think that they're going to get 40 million for that dude, forget about it. You want to sell him for as much as you can, of course, but I think right now his value is more like 20-25 million. Or you could even maybe do a trade for something. But he is not good enough for Premier League. He's not good enough for Manchester United. And here is the worst shocker of them all. We know that Manchester United, and especially Ole Gunnar Solskjear, has said this himself. To be a player for Manchester United, you have to have that Manchester United passion. You have to have that Manchester United feeling, the vibe, the integrity, the drive, you know, the mental side of things. What I saw yesterday from Martial was anything but that. He is unengaged. He's passive. He doesn't want to run. He doesn't want to work. Unless he's standing inside the 6-yard box and the ball falls right on his shoelaces, he's not going to attack the ball inside the box. He does stupid decisions when he wants to finish, and he's selfish. And when you're poor, you're not in a position to be selfish. When you're performing badly, being selfish only adds to it to become even more bad. And we saw that yesterday. Martial right now is probably a waste of body on the bench. He shouldn't even be in the squad. I mean, he was so bad yesterday. He didn't want to run. At one point, I remember there was one thing that happened. The ball, that could have been a good goal scoring chance. In fact, it could have been an equalizer. But he did not pursue the ball. And the ball was right, 5 feet in front of him and barely moving. And he's just like, if I don't come today, I'll come tomorrow. You know, it's so... He does not have his head in the game. It's almost like he's bothered to be playing. It's almost like, I really have to be here now. You know what? That kind of behavior sets the tone for all the other players around him. So basically, yesterday, from the start, we played with 10 men because he was not even interested in the link-up play or in the passing play. And when the few times he did, it was so bad and so poor. And I hope that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because I like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think he's doing a lot of good things for the club. I think he's the right man for the club. He galvanizes the club for the most part. You have stupid fake fans on the social media. Yeah, but you can't help that. All clubs have that, but they're especially out there. Even fan channels. There's a lot of them out there. But I hope that for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's sake, that he saw yesterday how bad Martial was in both of finishing, quality of play, quality of passes, quality of involvement, quality of mental state towards the game. Because when you play a soccer game, I've been a professional soccer player, professional on my level, in my country, in my league. I went because I played for an organized club that was in a league system and in the top league system. So I know how it is to be a soccer player or an athlete in overall. Let me have some herbal tea. And it is like, okay, you have your everyday life, and you walk around with your daughters and sons and kids and dogs and fiance or wife or whatever, or family, and you do normal family stuff, and your mindset is, this is family time. This is like, I'm doing my hobby. I'm playing chess. I'm painting a picture. I'm listening to music. I'm playing a guitar. I'm going to my family's barbecue party. Blah blah blah. That's your everyday thing. As a soccer player or an athlete, when the time comes and you're called upon to play a game, which is pretty set in stone, here's the schedule for the year. You automatically change your mind. Your mindset changes. The day before, you start to like go through in your head, kind of like game scenarios. How do you think this game will be? And then on the game day, you have your rituals like all clubs and all players have. And when you show up that morning on game day, and you do a players meeting, because most clubs have a players meeting where they sit in an auditorium or something like that, and the coaches and the manager are talking, and then you go to do breakfast or whatever, or you have breakfast first and then the meeting, and then you jump on a bus to go to the stadium and you do warm-ups and all that sort of shit. Then you know that I have a cat trying to get through the door. As a soccer player, then you know that it's game time. I have to be my sharpest. I have to be focused. I have to be like in the groove. In my mind, have to be in the game. I'm gonna do my best. With Martial yesterday, where was he? I looked at his eyes, and your eyes can tell you. Someone's eyes can tell you a lot about them. The cliches, they're the window to your soul, but they're also the window to your thoughts and where you are on a mental stage. And when you saw close-up of Martial, either when he was like just walking around on the field or not being engaged in things, or when the ball came towards when you saw him interact with the ball and players, or after he finished, or he missed a finish, or he could have done something but didn't. The way you saw him react and radiate his persona outwards was not by someone who wanted to be there. And he is probably pissed. This is I'm guessing here, but I guess that he's pissed, and he's playing the game for so many wrong reasons. But he's pissed because he has been foregone by Cavani, Greenwood, Rashford, Ronaldo, Lingard. Is there anyone else? Elanga, in so many games and lately, that he's feeling that, why am I supposed to do anything because I don't get picked anyway? Wrong! You got picked yesterday, and that means you step out on that field and you give it your darn best, damn it. He didn't. He chose to play the victim card, and he was like, I'm here because I have to play this game because I'm the fifth or sixth wheel on this bus, and I can't play Premier League, I can't play Champions League, and I can't play FA Cup. And now they're putting me on the field to play this stupid little EFL Cup and Caraboa Cup. That was his mindset. You could see it. His whole body was radiating it. I don't want to be here. I hate it. I'm not happy. I'm not satisfied. I'm playing the Martial card. I'm not playing the Manchester United card. He was not a team player yesterday. He was a Martial player. People like that do not deserve a place in this club. Martial has a terrible attitude. He has, basically for the last year and a half, his skill set has become so bad, I think he forgot how to play freaking football. He is such a terrible forward. He's the worst one you have in the club. I mean, players like Elanga, Hannibal, are way, way, way ahead of Martial in quality, in performance, and they give their all. Martial is done. He's done. That's all I wanted to say. As for the Caraboa Cup, I wanted them to win it. Like Ole Gunnar Solskjears said yesterday too, it's the one thing that has eluded him in his career, and he wants to win it. But at this point in time, it was more important for him to find out who are ready to go the whole distance this year to challenge for the UEFA Champions League, and challenge for the Premier League, and challenge for the FA Cup. He wanted to find out, I have my starting 11, Who else can I add on to create a squad of 14 to 16 players that can rotate, that I can use in these important games coming up? Because he knows when Rashford comes back, he can trust Rashford when he gets enough conditioning and training. He knows that when Cavani comes back, because all he needs now is a little bit conditioning, so he knows when Cavani comes back, Cavani will give him what he needs. A lot of good runs and a lot of goals. Don't be surprised if by the end of the season Cavani has 20 goals. And the same with Rashford, probably 20-25 goals. Because he knows that those two players are going to add on to the 11 he already had, that he has chosen most of the time. Then you have 13 players, and he found out that, okay, I have Henderson as backup, that's 14. I have Telles, he's on his way, he's not right there yet, but that will be 15. I have Delo, I have 16 players right now that can be my squad. So the other ones are like fillers. He knows. He now got the answers he wanted. I think that this was really... Fans will say, oh, he didn't win this trophy. This is not good enough, blah, blah. It was an experiment. He wanted some answers. He got it. He's preparing for something bigger. He wants to challenge for the Premier League. And by not going through in this Caraboa Cup, that's one game less to play every week until February. The teams that are left in it, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Manchester City, has to play Carabao Cup. They have to play FA Cup. They have to play Premier League. They have to play UEFA Champions League. They're going to be playing more games than Manchester United. So I think that this was also kind of like in his Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's mind. Well, if we win it, okay, I can use these backups as long as the run goes. But now he knows that I have one game less to play than the other three of my opponents that I'm fighting against the Premier League title for. They have to play one more game each week, every now and then, certain weeks, not every week, but for at least 3 or 4 weeks here and there, they will have to add on one more game, which will complicate their scheduling. It will complicate their how to use players. It also means higher risk of injuries to certain key players. So this is very smart from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I like the little professor stunt that he did yesterday. He probably didn't say it out loud, but this was an experiment. He wanted to get some answers, and he got them. He's good to go. We're good to go. We're going to beat Aston Villa in Premier League on Saturday. Mark my words. Until next time, guys, take care.